Hi, this is Rick Tafone. We're standing outside of 444 Oneida. This is Jeff Schmigel's most recent project. Let's see what hard money can do.
Hi. When I was looking to purchase this building, it was last summer. I couldn't even walk through this yard. The grass was higher than I was. There was probably 20 trees in here. We cut everything down. There was a fish pond right here. There was big mounds. So what we did was we obviously we cut everything out. We excavated the ground down to a nice flat tabletop yard. We have one of the best yards in Mount Washington, and this is one of the best locations in Mount Washington. There's a ton of value here. We bought the building for $130,000. When we're done with it, it's probably going to be worth north of $600,000. But you'll see more of that inside. But yeah, we redid everything. We put a ton of money. We had to rip off all the crap that was on the outside. We resheeted it, resided everything. A whole 9 yards, new roof, new windows, new soffit fascia, everything. We haven't put the gutters in yet.
What was the original scope, Jeff? What was the original scope of the rehab?
Probably 150. I'll probably be into it for like 200 on the rehab, but I always go over because I always go extra. I mean, we spent almost $30,000 on plumbing alone because new gas lines, new water lines, and then we replumbed the whole inside. And so yeah, you get the value out of it, because something like this in this neighborhood where you have such high value, you spend a few extra bucks and you'll get it out fivefold, tenfold.
Any delays beyond your control?
Yeah, permits nowadays in Pittsburgh, it's a nightmare to deal with the city anymore. I mean, it takes so long. It's just long, arduous process. But I mean, in terms of value, it's a 2-unit. It was set up that way. If we would have converted it back to a single family and flipped it, I'm keeping it as rental, but if we would have turned it back to a single family and flipped it, our one big comp was 1 block up the street. Similar house to this. Ours was probably a little bigger. They had a 2-car garage attached, but they had no yard. They had a little deck in the back for their yard. This is one of the best yards in all of Mount Washington. This has 6-car off-street parking, but that house up there sold for $575. This thing we would have easily sold for at least $575 or $600, because I mean it was nice inside, but it was not. It's like old woodwork and stuff. Stuff I don't like. I like new contemporary look. But yeah. So I mean, value. There's a lot of value. Okay, this is the first floor. This is a 2-bedroom. We didn't do too much in terms of moving walls around. We just moved this one around. We just kind of brought it back a little bit, and that's about all. But yeah, I mean, we're just putting new flooring in, and some drywall patch, and a lot of paint, drop ceilings.
When do you expect to finish this?
Well, if the contractors would work continuously, this thing could be done in less than a month, but it depends on how quickly they can work, and obviously there's no one here, so, which is like the norm.
But you had a great experience with the siding contractor.
Yeah. They were the best crew around. They were the best siding guys I've ever seen, and they did a phenomenal job outside. So they weren't the cheapest, but they did a phenomenal job. And actually, they weren't too expensive. They're $15,000 in labor, and that's for ripping off all the old siding, resheeting, putting new siding up, redoing all. There was a ton of rotted wood on all the eaves. The soffit fascia was all rotted. So they rebuilt all of those. They put soffit underneath the porch. They put the columns up. So they did a lot of work, and it was like $16,000 in labor, and then
how much for materials?
Probably $10,000 materials. So yeah, it could maybe $12,000 materials, give or take. So yeah, $25,000 probably, $25,000, $28,000 for this whole, for the outside.
For a large 2-story house.
Yeah, now that doesn't include the roof. The roof was separate. The roof was about $13,000 or so, about $14,000. We had box gutters, so we had to remove those, and we actually sheeted.
You went over the box gutters?
What's that?
You went over the box gutters?
We did, yeah. So we sheeted so you don't have this going down, so water would just sit. It's continuous down, so. But yeah, that's about all here. So
let's go upstairs.
Move on, yeah. All right, well, we're on the 3rd floor. This is the second floor, second part of the second floor apartment. We had the second floor has 2 bedrooms. It has a master suite with a master bathroom, a big master suite, and then a 2nd bedroom, and then a living room and a decent kitchen. And then on the 3rd floor, which is still part of the same unit. We have a third bedroom up here, big bedroom, and then we have a big living room area here. So when you go on vacation, you rent beach houses, they always have like a nice area for everyone to congregate. We're gonna have a wet bar here. Basically, it's all plumbed in for like a second kitchen. Put like a poker table here. We have a sliding door here. We're gonna put a deck off the back, all for entertaining. And then we have a half bath here. So this unit is 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths.
Okay, Jeff, we talked a little bit about your decision whether to convert it to a single family and retail it or keep it as a rental. Tell me about your decision process.
Yeah, well, if we flipped it, okay, we have a comp up the street at 575. That's a really good comp. So we're anywhere from 575 to 600 on this because we have a double lot. They do not. They have no yard up there. They have a little deck. They do have a 2-car garage, but we do not. But we have a 6-car parking pad back there, so it's, you know, it kind of negates one another on that. But the fact that we have a phenomenal yard, you know, lends us to a higher price probably. So assuming we could probably sell this for $600,000, if we were to sell it, convert to single family and sell it, we would experience a little bit more in rehab fees on the inside because we would do just a little higher end stuff. Not too much though, because if we do keep it as an Airbnb and rent it, we're going to still spend $10,000 on furniture. So, and then we have 2 kitchens instead of 1. But I mean, so if we were to retail it, we might spend an extra $20,000 because we'd put a few more frills in. So that's not that much. But anyways, if we would sell it, if we would have retailed it as a retail, we'd probably be into it for $300,000. If we sold it for $600,000, that's $300,000. But we got $50,000 in realtor fees and transfer fees. City of Pittsburgh, they hit you with 2.5% on each side. So it's about $50,000 to sell this thing. So now we're down to $250,000 profit. Now of that $250,000, I'm going to get hit with at least 40% in taxes. So it puts me down to about $130,000 or $140,000. So
What about the income you'll generate from this?
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. So the income, if we Airbnb this property, the income, I kind of think we'll probably make about $3,000 per unit, so that's $6,000 gross. And then you have Airbnb fees, the management fees and things like that. And then you're paying more in utilities, a couple $100 more in utilities because you have to cover all utilities. And the insurance, we have another Airbnb around the corner in great Airbnb, but our insurance has increased $100 a month just because it's an Airbnb. So now you have increased insurance costs too. So, you know, having said all that, if we kept it, and if it did generate $3,000 per unit gross Airbnb, which is not hard to do at all, our cash flow on this would probably be about $3,000 a month.
So if you do Airbnb in 4 or 5 years, you've made the same profit as you would have if you'd sold it.
Yeah. And
plus you still have the property.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. In 5 years from now, if this is worth $600,000 now, this is in one of the best areas of Mount Washington. We're 5 blocks from the Trimont. We have a phenomenal neighborhood. This is truly a great neighborhood. Yeah, so if this is worth $600,000 now, in 5 years from now, it might be worth $800,000, or it might be worth $1 million. Who knows? I mean, property values right now are just soaring. And the other thing, I mean, that brings into play the other thing too is when you're figuring out the economics about on these things. Okay, you sell it, you no longer have that asset. Okay, so if I'm only making $3,000 a month cash flow, okay, that doesn't include all my tax benefits. That doesn't include principal pay down, which is a big one. Principal pay down is a big one. So if my mortgage is $2,000 a month, at least half of that is going towards principal. So that's $1,000 a month. So I'm making an extra $1,000 a month in equity on the property and appreciation on top of that. Now I never focus on those things, but I always have those in the back of my mind when I'm looking to do deals. But the primary thing you want to focus on is cash flow. And then you also want to make sure that you have a good valued property. Like this is a phenomenally valued property. I mean, we paid $130 for it. So, you know, we have a lot of equity here. So that's the other thing you want to look at. But cash flow, first and foremost. If it's not going to cash flow, it's not going to be a good investment. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, if it doesn't cash flow properly, you just move on to the next one.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Hard Money at Work. This one featured Jeff Schmigel, who I've known for more than 10 years, and he's a very competent investor, both for building flips and also for building a strong portfolio of rental properties. And I thought this was interesting from a couple of perspectives. One we didn't really cover in the video was that this house was purchased through a wholesaler that Jeff has done business with on several deals, and the wholesaler and him have gotten to know each other well, understand the type of properties he looks for, and has become a good source of properties for Jeff. But most importantly, the second item here was the financial decision process that Jeff went through. Because again, this property is located in a very desirable location, which would be an easy property to retail and for a quick and a healthy profit. But it goes through the economics of keeping it or flipping it. And I think it's a very interesting lesson in how the numbers work and why sometimes it makes much more sense to hold a property, especially a valuable asset like this, for long-term gain versus the quick hit. Anyway, that's our episode. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again in the future.